5 for the month of July. I am Michael Perry, and once again, I'm pleased to be joined by National Master Frank Johnson. Before we start, we once again just have a couple announcements to go through. The first announcement is we have a GM camp, and that GM in question is Grandmaster Robby Kevlishvili. He will be here about August 22nd to August 24th. You can see the flyer there. It's coinciding with the Hale chess tournament, which is a big tournament that we have at the castle in the end of August. So make sure you sign up early if you do plan to attend. There'll be discounts for that. But I believe I don't remember the last time we had a GM playing an event like this at the castle where you could come and watch and participate in that. So please definitely take advantage of that. But yeah, definitely a great time. I'll be there. I'm sure many other players will be there. I think we had a decent turnout when International Master DeBear was here, so looking forward to this one as well. Our player profile for today is Thaddeus Swigum. He has a peak rating of 1801. He finished in the top 10 of the Minnesota Open U2000 section with a starting rating of 1675, gaining over 100 points. He's an every month player at the club. You see him all the time. His best wins are Thomas Muzatrowski, Michael Muff, Ryan Zhao, Robert Neuschitz, and Aaron Thompson. His best draws include Jeff Chandler, National Master Thomas Babcock, and Yuval Seamus. So I've played Thaddeus Swigum myself. I don't remember, probably like 4 or 5 times, but he is a challenging player, so I don't know if he's playing tonight, but definitely pleased to be covering him tonight.
Yeah, he is. So I got it up right now.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. We'll start here, and I think we'll zoom from the top if we're ready to go.
Yeah, sounds good.
Let's do it. All right. So let's see. Make sure I got the colors right. So yeah, Thaddeus Swigum is white, and Jacob Picus is black. So D4, G6, D4, Bishop G7, D4, C5, which is this kind of modern-y approach to against the Queen's Pawn. Can get a Benoni, can get other weird stuff, I suppose. Let's see what we get here. D6, H3, Knight of 6, H3, castles, Knight of 3. These are all very standard kind of moves. Nothing jumping out at me here. Bishop D3,
No.
takes. C takes. Okay, so this is their Benoni structure where you get white gets the pawns on E4 and D5, and black has this kind of queenside majority. And obviously, like you learn chess, you learn that this is a bit of a structural disadvantage for black. However, there's a lot of play that comes with this structure, in particular because of how good black's bishop is, and just the squares on the dark squares and whatnot are usually pretty straightforward for black to put pieces on. On the downside, the light squared bishop for black is always a problem. It's often really hard to figure out where it's going to go. Have you ever played any of this?
Not quite. When I'm white, I always play the same-ish against the King's Indian, so not exactly my forte, but
yeah. Okay. So I think we're going to see fun stuff here. So let's look. So B5 is typical. This is like, as I understand, this is a very theoretical kind of thing. In fact, I think this position is been played a lot. So let's see how this. We're still very much in the realm of theory here. Bishop takes. I think knight takes is played. Let me look over here. Okay, yeah. So knight takes is more popular and scores better, but it's not like bishop takes hasn't been played a lot too. So, so bishop takes, knight takes, and castles. Okay, so this is the first kind of departure from theory moment. So like the theory here, and this is like old stuff. Like this is This is old stuff, even for me, old stuff. I mean, you see the top game here is like Karpov, Topolov 96. This is really, so the main line is knight takes, queen a5, knight fd2, and then queen takes b5. And this position, yeah, has been played a lot. And it goes on and on and on. Knight takes d6, on whatever. You got to remember a million moves of theory. I don't know it, so I'm not going to pretend like I do going through all this stuff. But so castles is a new move, which probably in a position that's so theoretical as this is probably means it's not a great move. But we'll see how it goes here. All right, so bishop takes. Already, yeah, some interesting things going on here. You could either take with the knight and then end up with the bishop there, or you take with the bishop. This is it looks kind of questionable to me because you're giving up that light squared or that dark squared bishop, and it looks like it could be an issue, but we'll see. Knight takes, queen b3, knight takes b5. Oh, there's tactics. I see. Okay, so you're just going to play bishop a6 at the end of this. And then there's going to be queen b2 and bishop h6. This is somewhat good wild stuff. Okay, so the point is, if you can take f1, look on f1, but then bishop h6 drops, and then you're going to end up with f6 and giving up rook back 2, and then you got to calculate stuff like desperado stuff with the bishop. This is kind of wild. There's also always the argument that maybe white doesn't even want to take that. You just kind of keep that bishop and say it's pretty good. I don't know in this type of position. So black elects though to play f6 and not take on f1, which is also a choice. Okay.
I wonder if this could somehow still be some sort of theory. Like, I doubt it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I wonder if it's almost theory, like something similar they've seen, because I don't think this is theory, because I'm pretty sure if black would have played knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes, then black is what? You're up a pawn here? Just a full pawn? Yeah, I think this is just the much better way to play. So instead he went for this, where again, black is up a pawn, but unlike that other variation, now white has dark squares galore, and that's actually some pretty decent compensation here, I would imagine. One of the things that's interesting for those who are maybe kind of intermediate players, like the opposite colored bishops, probably the first thing people learn about opposite colored bishops is that they're kind of drawish in endgames. But then probably the second thing you should learn about opposite colored bishops is that in the middle game or opening, if you have opposite colored bishops, it tends to favor the person who's attacking, because the bishops can't defend against one another. So it actually ends up being the opposite of a factor that leads to draws. It actually is a factor that leads to decisive results, because you can't really defend one another. So in this case, the dark squares are very much open for white. Okay, oh, it zoomed ahead on me. So I try to get to where we were in the game, because it was sort of interesting anyway. Knight d7, bishop h6, f7, d6. Yeah, and white I'd say has pretty good compensation here for the pawn.
f7's a bit odd. I don't know why I didn't play rook e8.
Yeah, unless there's something tactical.
I mean, it kind of, maybe he's just thinking rook e8, trade the rooks, and then white's just going to put another rook on the e file. Maybe that's what he was thinking.
Yeah, then I think you maybe can play knight 5. I was actually wondering about knight g5 here. I don't know if it's, well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean this or trade the rooks. And yeah, I think both of them are potentially, yeah, but yeah, maybe what you said is even more straightforward. You just trade, and even if it's not as easy as putting a knight here, because you could just trade and play a 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or this, and this is also interesting. And
knight g5, you probably go ahead and maybe trade the rooks first and then play knight b6 or something like that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So yeah, rook f7. Yeah, I don't know. I think they both look playable. Rook f7. The nice part about this is it does kind of end any knight g5 ideas, which
Yeah.
I think are always kind of a thing hanging in the air. So, get rook e6, b8, queen c3, knight e5. Okay. Yeah, it is kind of hard to figure out how to make progress with white, and now bishop c8 comes, and you really do have to get something quick here, because you're definitely giving up an exchange now. It's interesting because white ends up playing giving up the rook here, and maybe he thought he had something here but I don't know if that actually has much of anything. I think you could play a move like f4 here. I think this is probably a little bit less kamikaze-ish, because whenever black takes the rook, you're gaining a tempo on this rook, excuse me, and in the meantime you're going to be able to take here, and it looks like there's some compensation still. I don't know if it's enough, but probably not. But yeah, I think like this is just asking too much of the position. Now, I mean, obviously black still has to play accurately though. I could see if black didn't have, well, I mean, the light squared bishop can just move and things are fine, I think. Because now all you have is what, one pawn for a rook. Yeah. So unfortunately, I think this is there's not a whole lot here for white. Rook e8, and now it's just black is held, and I expect that this is probably going to be over pretty soon, because
I agree.
Yeah.
And Jake, improving player. He's getting a lot better. He's gained a lot of rating points over the last couple months, so I definitely expect him to take this one.
Yeah. Yep. Critical move just early was, I mean, black had advantage here with knight takes knight. And then after that, and probably enough that after bishop takes, it just gets messy, and you just don't want it to get messy if you can avoid it. So, but you know, black was still solid for a while. But then from white's perspective, probably, yeah, it's interesting because you would think rook e6 would be the way to play here, but I'm not sure if it.
Yeah, it looks normal, but
actually you need to sort of realize your rook's kind of getting trapped there if there's no immediate things. So
it's a tough position to play because you kind of want to. White doesn't have an obvious plan. At least to me, they don't have an obvious plan.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not so clear. So I can see why. I definitely can understand rook e6. I was wondering though, if we fast forward a couple moves, let's see, a couple more, right after. Yeah, even after, instead of rook ae1 for white, I was wondering why. So like at this point, I feel like you know your rook might get trapped. So yeah, exactly. Just take, and then play f4. Yeah. Before even rook e1. This is what I was looking at.
Yeah,
Your rook's still getting trapped, but now you're getting quicker counterplay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if, you might not even be able to do bishop c8 now because it's very quick, actually. I think you're right. This is a whole other ball game. Yeah, I believe this has to be the correct way to play. Just to point it out, because if bishop c8 takes, if you just go, I mean, and you probably have to commit if you're playing bishop c8, you got to take the material. Well, now this is extremely messy.
Very messy.
Yeah, so here, wherever, like here, black does seem like you're sort of holding things together, but there's a lot of tempting moves. Like, I mean, just for example, even if you just play this, which actually I don't think I would do, because it might make it too easy for him to trade the queen off on d4, but excuse me. So
I
maybe
mean, if rook e7, we can just go bishop g5, and that's much better than the game.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I actually missed that completely. Yeah.
If he would have seen this, though, he definitely would have gone for this.
Yeah. So like, and yeah, something like this, but then even maybe rook d1 or something.
And maybe, yeah, it's still, I would say I still prefer black, but this is more interesting than the game for sure. I think this would have been a more trying response for black to deal with.
Yeah. I'm not even sure if I prefer black, but I'd have to look. I mean, this is like you got to calculate quite a bit here to look at the particulars, I think. So, but yeah, very interesting. So, okay, so let's hop somewhere else. Do you want to go to the top here, or
Yeah, let's start with the top now.
Okay, so we've got Eddie Wasserman against Nathan Hoover. He's white, so e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop e5, d6. I think we saw Steinitz with Nathan last week. Bishop d7, bishop d7. Okay, yeah, and he just takes it right away. I mean, just in general, I mean, unless you're pressured to play bishop takes knight, I don't think you want to do it. It's just like you're giving up a bishop for a knight, and it's often fine if you're gaining a tempo. Like if black played a6 to force you to do it, it's probably fine, justified to do it in some positions, but just it feels a little bit like you're giving black, releasing all the pressure to do it here. So obviously this position's been played, but I don't know. It just seems a little interesting. And then castles. Okay, so not afraid of giving up e4 here, which is interesting. You know, the adage of like, you know, it's a center pawn. Like when it's a center pawn, I'm very tempted to just take it. You probably end up giving it back later, but like it's also probably the kind of position you give it back and black is already equalized, I would think. So
yeah, the most trying line I see is, I'm assuming, rook e1.
Yeah, rook e1, bishop takes, queen takes, or actually, yeah, I guess maybe you commit to this. Maybe you don't play bishop takes. Maybe I mean, maybe you just play like this or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm asking too. Maybe I'm.
Yeah,
maybe,
I was looking at f4.
Yeah.
F4
okay.
for black, because if d5 we just give the e5 pawn back for white, but if f4 this looks somewhat interesting. I mean, I guess they can still. I mean, c2's hanging if we try to get greedy and trade queens and win our pawn. So
Yeah. I mean, I think that like. Yeah, I don't know. This is still interesting.
at very least, maybe they can pull their knight back to d2. Yeah.
Okay, I've changed my mind on this. Yeah, I actually don't know that. Yeah, maybe you don't get greedy. Okay. Yeah, but I mean, knight of 6, you're still threatening to do it, and maybe you're forcing him to play like d5. So, oh, okay. Now again, I mean, it takes calculating it to really like pull the trigger on it. But with the knights off the board, I maybe even more consider doing knight takes e4 here with the pawn. But all right. Anyway, elected not to do that, and now we're back apparently into some kind of theory. So, all right. Rook e1. Souls. h3. Okay. These Roy Lopez positions are real subtle, so it's hard if you don't really know the position to really know the difference. Like, is h3 a useful move, or should I just have opened up the center, or I don't know. Now he takes. Okay. They've used a lot of time in this very symmetrical position.
Yeah.
Bishop g5, h6, bishop h4. Okay, and now we're actually almost caught up. And black played bishop b4. Okay, so this is the live board. They have used a lot of time. That's my first thought on this.
Yeah.
Black has the 2 bishops, and they're showing now because you know this one's also out of play. So I think this looks like to me like a tough position for white.
I wonder. I wonder if this could somehow be a DGT board error, because I did hear from the boss that we were having some issues with the DGT, and while the position doesn't look strange, Eddie has 25 minutes, and Eddie is known for using his time, but to spend an hour and 12 moves is
Yeah.
and as I don't know, he spent, yeah, this is just
Well,
causes me
since there's
to
been
wonder.
so little that's happened, let's come back to it and we'll see if anything corrects itself here.
Yeah.
This is kind of a critical moment. We'll let them think on it anyway. So, all right. So I'm going to go to the second board, which is Connor Weatherly against Andres Ortigosa. Let's see. So this position is very interesting. So we'll get to that in a second. E4, C5, knight of 3, G6, accelerated dragon, C3, bishop G4, D4. This is a classic way to play against this. All right, bishop G4. The whole premise usually for black in these type of positions is you're just going to give up the light squared bishop and create a really solid pawn structure. Like you're just going to, whenever, if white were to play H3, you just take it, you give it up, you play E6, and you say, the bishop pair doesn't matter because my structure is so good. And I think he's right. I think in general, that's right. So I think black does all right in these positions in general, although not necessarily all the time. Yeah, it's interesting because you look at, like, I'm looking at the database here on the right, and like bishop b5 is the only move that seems to challenge, like, it's, well, yeah, knight bd2 scores okay too, apparently, but you know, and it's really interesting, like, why does that move so much better than the rest of them? Well, I think it's mostly that the higher quality players understand that you need to do something right now rather than h3, because h3 is just giving black what they want. They're just going to trade it off and
Yeah.
and then play
And I
e6.
think this kind of speaks to just the nature of the hyper accelerated dragon. Just any type of dragon position, I don't play it myself, but I think it's just known to be very solid. So that makes
Right.
sense that, like you said, that bishop b5 is kind of the only way to get play. And
Yeah,
for
well, yeah.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
For newer players, it is important to note that, like you were pointing out, when black plays the bishop b4 move, why they're kind of forced to take on f3 is pretty much in chess when you bring the bishop out to threaten the knight like that, and you have your pawn on g6. There's no retreat square, especially when black has played e6. Yeah, exactly. You just get trapped. So you pretty much always have to take in those positions.
Yeah. Yep. And this is, we saw Benoni earlier where, again, where black had a pawn, in this case on c5 or c4 and d5, or no, excuse me, it's a different pawn structure, but it's a similar situation in that the black's light squared bishop is the weak bishop, and in this case, this is just very similar in that regard. You just want to trade that piece off, and in fact, in some lines like this, white doesn't want to play knight f3. Because you don't want to even allow black to trade off that light squared bishop. That takes away a lot of your play. So, so anyway, yeah, this is what happened, and then now we're going to probably see white potentially give their light squared bishop to e6 castles, c3. So just normal development, and then. Okay, so now defending the pawn this way. F6. Okay. All right. Yeah, everything black's doing here is very, very normal looking. And you know, just kind of getting pieces where they belong. Takes G4.
And that f6 idea is a somewhat common theme you'll see in these type structures where white has slightly more space. So you'll see it sometimes in the French where black tries to counterattack white's stronghold in the center, and f6 is commonly a good move. You do have to be careful because you have the old adage, don't move your foolish Freddy pawn, but oftentimes you need to, and in positions like this, it's just, I think, quite sound.
Yeah, this is something you see in, like you mentioned, in the French, you see it in the Caro-Kann, you see it in here in the Accelerated Dragon. I play this very similar structure against the C3 Sicilian as black. It's very, very similar. And a lot of times this f6 is really the key to breaking things open. Now, you're going to see here, we're going to see that it's not without creating weaknesses. Black has these pawns, especially this e6 pawn is weak now because you moved that pawn from f7. But that said, if you can ever get an e5 successfully, then you're doing real well as black.
You're cooking.
Yeah, you're cooking. And white also has a weakness. D4 is just kind of hanging out there. So in the short term, e6 is the big weakness, but there's some real dynamic chances for black to get a good position here. So yeah. And there's usually good ways to defend this. Like this is part of it too. It's like you can even play a move like knight f5, which might be good here. In fact, that's what black plays. So both sort of defending indirectly, putting a piece in the way, and also attacking everything. So kind of like that. Excuse me. So let's see. Bishop takes. Knight a4. I was thinking this too. This is kind of a typical maneuver in these type of positions. You're looking at c5, want to put a piece there. So I mean, the play from both sides in this game makes a lot of sense so far.
And they've spent very little time, which I'm impressed by.
Yeah. I think like this is one, if you know the structures well, maybe they've played this position before, or maybe they've played something very similar. But yeah, either way, the moves make a lot of sense. So. Okay, rook b8, knight c5, queen e7. I mean, the downside for white, from my perspective for white, is that that once black does get an e5, this knight is very easily undermined. So even though it's on a really nice square right now, it's definitely not a guarantee that that's going to stay there. e3. So I'm curious, just without much calculating, looks like e5 is, I don't know if it's playable or not here, but I'd be thinking about it at least.
Yeah, that being said, you make a good point about e5 undermining the knight. I wonder if it would have been a decent try for white to play rook a b1 to protect this pawn, and then try to play b4 to stabilize the knight with the b pawn. I don't know if that's good, but it's an option just to further stabilize the knight, just bracing for when e5 does come, because it's most likely going to.
Yeah. Also, another move you could have considered, although it feels like going backwards, is actually knight d3 to try to hinder this and protect b2 at the same time. But I don't know. Yeah, I think all of them they look interesting. So. B3 makes sense if you can get your rooks moving quick, because now your rook isn't going to be tied down to the b pawn. You can get this rook over to one of these files, but let's see. I am curious because I mean, if e5 immediately didn't work, then you are giving white a chance to put a rook on that file. So we see rook fe1. So black, instead of pushing for e5 quickly, instead just goes for more pressure on d4, which is also viable. Yeah, I mean, I think black has choices here. I mean, I would just play. I'd just probably play e5 and figure it out from there. In fact, I think I would have done it in this position, because every move you're giving white a little more chance to try to solidify things here. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's something real concrete.
I don't see anything wrong with it. Yeah, it looks fine.
Yeah, I think so. And the part of it too is you got to be careful tactically if you're white. I don't know if you can, like something like this, you actually have to worry about this too. And this might just end up being like the tactics might just work for black.
I think this works for, or maybe not. Oh, if you're saying takes f6 and queen takes c5, is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, it takes f6, queen takes c5.
Yeah, you're right. I was looking at another line, but yeah, this probably is just good for black.
Yeah, or takes f6, rook takes maybe. I don't know. I mean, Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Okay, so it's interesting, but I like e5 to me makes sense. I think that it seems like the way you'd want to play this generally. But okay, so we get to this position instead, and now black plays h5. All right, so completely different approach to the position than what I was saying. Now it's not so much about getting in e5 as it is about just putting as much pressure as possible on d4. And if this just works, then this is good. So maybe Andres has this just figured out, because now queen g4 or queen f4, excuse me, g5, f3.
Oh boy.
So this is just it's either really good for black or he's overextending and it's not good, not as good. So
Yeah, I mean, every piece of black is doing something important.
yep, yeah. It does seem like it makes a lot of sense. I'm only skeptical of it because it seems like typically in these structures e5 is the way to create a good position, but like I don't see anything wrong with this at all.
I mean, at very least, I think you can just play bishop takes d4 and win a pawn, I think.
So if bishop takes d4, knight takes, then h5 falls.
True, h5 does fall. That's right. Maybe
Yeah,
it should have g5. I don't know.
Yeah, so this was a subtly smart way for white to play queen f4 and then to play queen f3, because it did create this here weakness on h5. True. That said, it still looks like there could be tactics against that white queen, and if black just plays slowly, maybe, I mean, even a move like queen h8 here and just hold it like this but continue to pressure on d4 seems like it could be the kind of move you might play.
Maybe even g4.
Okay, so g4 is played. So takes. Now the queen goes back to f4. Okay. Well,
I mean, bishop g5 looks appealing. I don't know, but black.
Well, you can't. It hangs.
Oh, true. It does hang.
Okay, yeah. It's interesting because if black doesn't have it, then probably all of this wasn't quite accurate. Because okay, so he plays knight takes, which makes sense because I don't know what he's gonna what the plan here is otherwise. Black's pieces are all in the best squares, and if you don't have a clear course of action when all your pieces are in the best squares, then I mean, I guess g3 is what I'd be looking at. This black, but he might just be able to play pawn takes pawn, and maybe it's not anything.
Feels like there has to be something over the last couple moves that black had.
Yeah. Well, I think the something could have been, I'm gonna beat a dead horse here. It's just like e5 in this position or something. Because now you've actually created a position, or actually, I'm going to go back to this. I think queen h8 could be a really nice move the more I think about it, because all you're doing here is defending this pawn, and you're continuing to pressure d4. And you have 3 pieces on it, 2 defenders, and ask white, how are you defending that? And not only how are you defending that, but your queen is on the f file. So like once all these minor pieces trade off there, then you're going to do it with tempo. So it might just be something like this that was just a nice move.
I wonder if he was worried about knight d7, because queen h8 does allow knight d7.
Oh, knight d7, okay. Yeah, you're right. It does open that up. And then you'd have to get really into the weeds on things. Oh man, this would be like wild, but I don't know if it's any good. Okay, this is probably crazier than you want to do when you felt like you had a nice little edge. Not to say that this might be good for black, but I'd be very. This is my kind of thing where I just like trust that like in these crazy complications, because I've made good moves up to this point, they're going to be fine for me. But like I just kind of glanced at this and said, okay, here, and then you're going to hit on f2. Must be good for black. I don't know. I have no idea if that's true or not. But Yeah. Okay, that's way in the weeds. Okay, so I see the problem with Queen H8, that you're at least giving white a real nice obvious move. All right. So anyway, let's get to what's actually happened here. So takes, and then E5. So now E5 comes. And maybe it's still just good. Maybe it's like, yeah, maybe this is fine still. You have a bishop against a knight. Black's pieces all make sense. Andres is just showing this as a much saner way to play than anything I just suggested. Just, you don't need to win all the pieces. You're just somewhat better as black here.
Yeah.
So now Queen G3 is an interesting move. Okay, so now using the fact that if you play pawn takes, then you allow knight e6. Okay. Yeah, that's looks reasonable. And
yeah, just push E4.
Yeah, so E4 is played. Okay. Yep. Now, yeah, this also makes a lot of sense, because now you're going to have pressure against D4, and you've got this clamp of the pawns on the light squares. Like, this is, yeah, looks really good. All right, so now white's queen is forced into a defensive position, and yeah, that looks okay. Black's doing well then, if white's queen has to do this. Okay, bishop to d8. Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, you want to your piece. This piece is so nice. I don't want to move it, but he's obviously got an idea here. I guess he's just going to relocate the bishop to this diagonal, the b8 h2 diagonal, and try to checkmate him. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Which, to be honest, looks fine too. So yeah. So it goes for this. Okay, b4. So white's going to try to so basically just holding the fort here. The question is whether blacks are just going to be crashing through. And then rook f3 played, of course. Nice. Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. Whether it does anything or not, it's fun. So I'm assuming rook e3. So he should show. Obviously, you can't take here because this just allows mate. So white has to play rook e3. Then we see what happens next. And now bishop g5. Yeah, this is nice. Oh, okay, so this must have been the idea all along. You just clear the space for rook f3. And then now you just use the bishop to force white essentially to open up the G file, which is not what you want to do. And so yeah, he just goes for this. And obviously I haven't calculated this yet. If you play here, I'm assuming black just wins on the light squares. Like, I can't imagine that after this.
Yeah. I
yeah,
wonder.
so like you go here and then this happens basically. So like let's just even say just queen h7. How do you stop mate? Yeah. And the cruel thing for white is that like you can't even get the queen back here. There's no way to. I mean, you can do this, and then I mean, I guess you're maybe staying alive, but like eventually, like something like this, even and just H file, it's over. So, yeah. And then just to like the nail in the coffin is that black always is threatening like E3 and stuff too at the same time. So yeah, that's a pretty sad situation. So he goes for survival here if he can, but just doesn't look like it's likely to work.
This was the line I was looking at, so I'm a bit curious because I'm not seeing it right off the bat where the win is.
Yeah, okay. Also, yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, so let's see, king f1.
I'm looking at, I wonder if bishop h4 can somehow be okay. I mean, you're admitting you're down a rook, but okay, no.
Yeah, just trying the mate here, but okay. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Like, white's king is running.
This would be a crazy swindle if white could get out of this with at least a draw.
Yeah.
I think black has gone wrong.
Hmm.
I mean, queen h6, king e1, queen h1, you just sidestep. I don't know.
Yeah. So king f1.
Yeah, I think white's just better now.
Hmm. I like
Oh,
your
wait.
bishop. I like your bishop h4 idea actually. Um, this is still pretty complicated. Um, I really like your bishop h4 idea actually. The line I was looking at here is bishop h4, king here. Now I was also wondering if you can take here, right? Like, is this a thing?
Yes, because if they take, you promote. You promote. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, check. Yeah, so has to go here, and then I'd have no earthly idea what's going on in this position.
Well, yeah, well, if I wonder if this could somehow still be good for black. And maybe not, because I mean, sorry for white, but maybe not, because f3 is just so strong. So even though you're temporarily down in material, I think f3 is just gonna be hard to deal with.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. This is not clear to me. And besides that, there's also this to calculate where king d2, queen takes here, and then this,
Yeah.
which is also, I mean, even if white can just do this, and you just take here and say, okay, you got 3 pawns for a piece at this point, and f2 is coming. So this feels like this is good for black.
I wonder though, can you play rook g1 now?
Oh, maybe.
Hmm.
Oh my goodness, rook g1, queen g. Is this good?
Takes.
I have no idea. This
I
can't
have no
be.
idea what's going on.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on either because the line I was just looking at is this, and this here, and then rook f8, and then rook f1 coming. I have no idea. I mean, this is really in the weeds, but holy cow.
I have no idea. On king d1, rook f1, rook g3. I think white's holding.
No, king d1. I'm taking the rook. Oh, but
Ah,
then this
true.
queen g3. Never mind. And
Oh,
then you
there's
win that.
queen g3. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, this is wild. I don't know.
Yeah, I doubt the players went this far.
Yeah, right. No, they definitely didn't look at this. Nobody's looking at this. Yeah, this is actually somehow white's winning. Okay. All right. Okay, so this is wild. So anyway, instead we saw queen h6 here. King e1. Queen h2. Okay, no, this is just a much more sane way for black to play. Again, like Andrew said, I think he's just played a really, really good game here because this eliminates all those things we just looked at, and now he's just threatening to go queen g1, queen f2, and take on e3, and
Yes.
yeah,
Very well, what would you say? Finesse. A finesse move.
yeah,
Queen
yeah,
h2 instead of queen h1. He's just trying to play in the dark squares, yeah.
yeah. Queen h2 is really nice. It just looks really nice. I think that's I don't see a move here for white, to be honest.
Yeah. He found the simple move we were missing. I mean,
Yeah,
not so simple, but yeah.
yeah. No, that's really good. Yeah. And that so white's not seeing anything either because he goes knight takes e4, rook takes e4. Again, just really nice. Like, I mean, I think a lot of folks would just maybe even snap up pawn takes, whatever.
Yeah.
And but he realizes like, oh, he can't take my rook because this leads to mate. So yeah, just really, really nice. Really, this is really good. Nothing else to say about this. Yeah, I think I didn't see an error from black. In fact, it looked really like he saw plenty of things we didn't see.
Yeah, that was a beauty of a game. That's so far it's my game of the day candidate.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this whole thing. I mean, I was here saying he should have played e5 earlier, and then he just showed that no, trade off everything. Play e5 once you have just a bishop versus that knight that's just chilling over there, and you just win. Okay, good. All right. Let's go down to Jordan versus Norman. Jordan Tim. Norm Myron. I saw a little bit of this when I was glancing through the game, so I'm just going to go through this quickly. This was one of those Jabava pre things. And white played the normal moves. And then just crashed through, and this is what happens sometimes. Yeah, so this is one of those positions where like you just know, like if you don't know the theory, you're probably gonna lose because like white clearly knows the theory, and it's just like because I mean any normal human being is playing h5, but like he knows that you're not supposed to do that here for some subtle reason, and that ends up being just means that he knows what he's doing. So
yeah, just so much more space.
Yeah, but I mean, just principally looking at this position, it's like it just looks nice for white. I mean, I don't know what black should have done. I guess you could look through the database and go into this, go into the details on it. But like the fact that white can just play g5 anytime, white's got more space. He can castle queen side. He can kind of wait and see which way black's gonna go. Just looks nice. I mean, it's got white has very straightforward ideas. He's gonna play g5, g6. Like he's probably gonna castle first to connect his rooks. So. Yeah. So I just glancing at the database in this position, and it makes sense that like e5 is the only move that like black's ever scored anything on here, because you got to do something right now, or else g5, g6 is just coming. Like
every other time, white basically just wins.
yeah. And so queen a5, and now g5, knight g8, g6. And I don't know. I mean, it's maybe exaggerating, but it's like this is GG. Like this is over. I mean, it's just. I glanced at this game earlier and saw this position and said, "Oh, you got to play knight e7, and then you can sort of survive." But like, can you? I don't even know. Like, he just puts the rook on the g file, and I mean, what do you even?
Black
do?
has no counterplay. They can't do anything.
No, there's nothing here. So he does this, and for some reason, but this is just So anyway, this was over. So, if you're gonna play against find a line as black to play against the Jabava pre, and then learn that, and then learn it, because otherwise, this is the kind of opening you can't just make up. You'll just lose. So
yeah. I mean,
it's not like.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's not like the Jabava pre like refutes chess. Like there's good lines to play against it with black. You just need to know one, So there you go.
And it's kind of somewhat important with that light square bishop. And I think in some lines you can fianchetto it on b7. White's immediate threat is always just knight b5, threatening the c7 pawn for black. But I mean, some positions. I feel like in so many openings, the Jabava is just another case where black's light square bishop on c8 has a little bit of problems, because when you put it out to c5 like we saw in the game, it often just gets kicked to the edge of the board and then gets traded advantageously for white. And then when you put it on b7, which is another option, it's just staring at d5. But just to give another option to the game, which didn't turn out for Norm, d7 is an option, I think.
Yeah. I think like bishop f5 is the most popular move here, master move, but like you got to know it. I mean, that's just the thing. It's like there's a lot going on here, and it's not like, I mean, Jordan plays the most critical line against this, and it looks like, look what white's scoring in this line. Like it's just really good. Like, so if you're gonna play like this, c6 already doesn't score well, so like we got to find something that works for you. But I mean, there's other lines. There's lots of lines here. I mean, look at the database and start clicking down what top players are playing.
Yeah, even just e6, which is basically the exact opposite of bishop f5. If you think about it, just saying I'm not even going to put my bishop out. I'm going to trap it in and tomb it. But it's the most popular move. So this would have been an alternative way for Norm to play, but.
Yeah. So like you can go e6 and you can learn a bunch of theory around like knight b5 stuff or whatever. But there's other. I mean, you can play solid moves here. If you want to play something a bit more offbeat, you can play something like a6 and learn these type of positions. It's not like yeah, like I said, it's not like the Jobaba is refuted chess.
No,
So and yeah, there's options. So okay, so that's that game. Board 4, Jason Wagner against Torfi Hoskuldson. D4, knight f6, c4, e6, g3, bishop b4 check. One of these subtle Catalan checks. Basically, I think, as far as I understand, the whole point of this kind of thing is you're trying to slightly misplace White's knight, because he doesn't want to go knight c3, because then there's always, like, you can always trade off stuff, play knight e4, that kind of thing. So so he plays knight d2, and then you're just arguing that that knight's slightly misplaced. Knight c6, knight f3, d6. Not familiar with this, but it's a move. Castles. Now he takes. And I would assume, like I said, I'm not familiar with this, but I assume you sort of need to take, because otherwise your bishop may well get trapped out here.
Yeah.
Like a knight b3, a3 kind of thing. So he takes. And this is your classic position where White has a bishop pair in space, but Black has a solid pawn structure. White's definitely a little bit better here, but it's very hard to prove it, and that's chess. So a5, d1, d5. d5 is an interesting break because your remaining bishop is a light square bishop, and so putting all your pawns on light squares seems like, in principle, to be the wrong approach. But I also think it's you can't really play e5 so easily right now, just because of tactical reasons on the d file. So Black's position is just going to get cramped. So it's interesting to see what he tries to do here. That said, I don't think d5 can be the right approach, both from that standpoint and the fact that you're sort of creating targets for Black or for White in the long term with this good bishop. So d5, b3, knight e4. Okay. So Black's just going for activity, which makes sense. Bishop b2, 5. Yeah, if you're going to play with a somewhat worse structure and against a bishop pair, like getting some solid clamp in the center, especially like trying to create a closed position, makes sense. So like this, 95. Okay. So principally, White or Black's trading pieces make sense when you have a cramped position. I don't know tactically like what the nuances are here. It does look a little scary on the d file. But oops, I'm sorry. So bishop d3. Okay.
he's kind of trying to go after the Black Knight here, trying to trap it.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. That's what I was just thinking. So f3 is kind of something like f3 is what you're looking at here, I think.
Yeah.
Oh.
Whoa. I was not expecting that.
Yeah. Unless this, like,
he must be thinking f3, f4. That has to be his only.
Yeah, that's the only idea, but I don't think that works. I'm kind of confused here.
Can't you just move the bishop?
Well, it's.
Oh, what?
You maybe.
There's
yeah.
Queen b6. Yeah.
Okay, let's look at this. This wasn't played in the game, but it has to be the critical move. I think this is like this is the move. The question is, what happens after f4? Well, for one thing, White could just take this knight, and that might just be tactically good.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, but also this is kind of critical, and then c5's forced, I think.
Yeah.
Unless there's, I mean, the kamikaze stuff's never working. You're not even close to getting enough pieces over here to do anything. So you have to play for the material, and then again, you just take. Maybe a little more counterplay here in this variation. I'm not sure.
Both lines look good for white, though.
Yeah, I think both lines. I think they do, and I would be very tempted to keep it simple and do something like this, and just say, I'm up a pawn. My pieces are better. The bishop's way better. You do have to worry about some rook f2 things potentially, but like it's one piece. See, black's only going to be attacking with one piece. Yeah, I think this was the way forward here. So yeah, I think f3 was a miss. This was a missed opportunity.
I wonder, just trying to get in the players' heads, I wonder why he didn't do that.
Yeah.
He must have been scared by f4 because, like we looked at, that there's really no other move. Like if you see f3, you obviously have to look. Okay, what's black going to do? That's just
Right.
chess. There's like no other move. So he must have seen something. If he saw f3, that's a big if. But if he saw f3, he must have seen something in f4 that scared him.
Yeah, I think like the reason he played bishop e3 feels like to play f3. So it feels like he's ready to play this, and it's surprising that he wouldn't. And I guess the kind of thing you could get in your head is I have to move my bishop in this position. If you start thinking like that, then you start to go, well, I don't have a good obvious square, and maybe I'm just letting black off the hook here, and you start to analyze things, and then you just forget, well, what happens if I just take it? You know,
maybe he was looking at the line I was looking at, which was bishop c1, trying to get really greedy and just win the knight outright. Maybe he looked at that.
That's the way you lose this.
It gets interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's losing, but yeah, it gets interesting because then you have to play e6. I mean e3.
Oh, E3.
Or maybe that. Yeah, or maybe queen. I didn't even see queen d4.
Yeah,
but it gets interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, e3. Well, you might be losing because e2.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe he was calculating stuff like this, and then he just overlooked the idea of just taking the knight straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible to just go down a rabbit hole. He spent so on this move, yeah, I only if it's that's not good. This is too critical of a position to only spend 25 seconds on this move. Yeah. So I mean, maybe you're right with the initial thought. Maybe he just never even considered f3. So f4, very different position now. Just a completely different game. It's now going to be locked up, and this knight that was about to be trapped potentially is now black's best piece. So takes. Yeah, now
I just prefer black.
Yeah, I think it's just equal because things are going to come off here, and this bad bishop is still a factor in the position. If this was like a dark square, or even if this were somehow outside the pawns or something, then yeah, I'd prefer black. But otherwise, I think it's just equal. Just because this knight is so good now, and really white's going to have to probably eventually just trade off their good bishop for it. So yeah, this is interesting. So now black actually can play for even like d4. Like, is that the idea? I mean, black is completely undeveloped, so opening up the center does feel a little scary. So the c5 is like a committal move here. And that was played with 5 seconds. Thought. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this if these times are accurate on this is wild stuff. Like, you have 90 minutes aside, and man, just go for it, right? All right, so bishop d3, bishop d7. Okay, so doesn't that give up a pawn? Just going straight for tactics, just tactics galore now. Like this is wild. I don't know what's going on. And then, okay. So we went from like the super stable, very equal position to this super dynamic, no idea what's going on position. I mean, not these moves make sense once you've committed to go into this. They're playing the critical line, I think, but now it's kind of funny. It's probably still equalish. It's just now the opposite color bishops will end up making it sort of drawish. But
Yeah.
Okay, so material wise here, white's now up a pawn. Black sacrificed a pawn. And yeah, I don't know. Opposite color bishops are a factor, but like, yeah, this white definitely is fighting for an advantage now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, putting the king on now. It's noteworthy that you're not really threatening to take this because of bishop c6, but eventually you are. c6. Now, I would be very tempted to just start. I mean, I think you need to start creating some threats here potentially as white. Because black, yeah, I mean, like, so bishop, rook d6 just to threaten this, well, to threaten b6, to threaten here at some point. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, suddenly white's got pieces all make sense on good squares here. And part of the point
looks really good.
Yeah. And part of it too is you want to stop black from just trading off all the pawns. Like, if black can do this and then play like here at some point, obviously he can't right now because it's pinned, but that just trading off all the pawns, that's how you get to a drawn endgame. But with this many pieces on the board, there's still a chance. Okay, so we've sort of transposed to something similar. But you know, white used a tempo on h4. Okay, now black, maybe that tempo is enough because now black can start to trade him off, but I still think you just double the rooks here, right? Yeah. And then you take with the rook. Yeah, okay, I like that. Okay. In general, I wouldn't want to give a pass pawn here, but I'm trying to figure out what ideas white should have. So what I mentioned earlier in that other game with the opposite colored bishops, this game is not an end game yet. It's a queenless middle game still because there's, you know, I guess the distinctions are sort of subtle, and it's not like it's clearly like now we're in the end game, but there's still the possibility to use these opposite colored bishops to attack, and maybe it feels a little unlikely, but something like bishop here, king, king, or excuse me, king, king. My arrows drawing is absolutely atrocious. I apologize, but boom, just going in on the dark squares and trying to checkmate him. Maybe there's not even a clear way to checkmate, but I would be very tempted to do these kind of things and just, you know, try to win right here. In the meantime, your black's counterplay is based on a passed pawn, and now the pawns are coming. B4 is an interesting move too.
I like b4. I didn't see that, but I kind of like it.
Yeah. I like it if you can actually get that pawn back. I'm not certain you can. And I get that there's also counterplay now where you're going to just start pushing this, but white's bishop on f1 actually covers, or f4 covers c1. So yeah, this is going to be wild again. So, all right. Yeah, okay. I like a5. You just hold the pawn because those pawns are relevant in these positions for sure. I mean, that's now a pass pawn. So, okay, c4. On the one hand, pass pawns want to be pushed. On the other hand, like now that's a square for the king. So, oh no.
Oh, what happened?
No, he just played king d2, and I mean it's probably, I don't know that, like, it's not like I've calculated something to any conclusion, but it feels like king d4 is the winning try. Whether it wins or not, I feel like this is the try.
I'm white here. I'm more focusing on drawing the game probably than winning.
As white?
Yeah, just from the just from looking at it. But I did check with our friend the eval bar, and yeah, at this point, white's completely winning.
Yeah, King D4 is winning.
Even King D2 it shows about +4.
Yeah. I'm not surprised that both are winning, and partly, or the reason why I say that is, I'm not worried at all about this pawn right now. The bishop can always just hop back to C1, and this is one of the advantages of having the opposite colored bishops in this position as black, is that white can never use their bishop to undermine your bishop. So they have to do some kind of maneuver with the rook to get behind. And the moment they do that, they spent a ton of tempi. You're pushing your own pawns. And even if they somehow do that, like you can imagine a situation where black does something like rook f8 to rook f1, undermining, and then they try to advance the pawn. You just move your bishop, sacrifice it for that, and in the meantime, your pawn's already queened. Like, I mean, this is really obviously not it's not like I've calculated all that, but like this is just intuition. Is that
yeah.
And it's crazy, but sometimes you can even do stuff like walk into the pins because there's nothing that bishop can actually attack. Obviously, you probably want to do that only if your bishop's sitting on C1, so there's no like tricks. But
good point. Yeah, the more I look at it, that makes sense.
Yeah. So anyway, King D2 looks like so you're saying it's still winning for white.
It is, yeah. Both moves
not a surprise. Not a surprise to me either, but it feels like your king needs to be like, to me it felt like I need my king in the center here. So now he plays King C1. Okay, so he's using his king to blockade the pawn, and I don't like that as much, but it's okay, obviously it's still fine. But now, okay, so bishop b4.
I don't know if that pawn matters that much. I might just let him have it.
Yeah. I'm not sure either. Well, this pawn does matter though, because then another passer comes, but if it's not fast enough, then it's not fast enough. So let's see. Okay, so he does give it up. Interesting. Okay.
It's not quite giving it up because, well, I guess it is, yeah. Because if bishop takes E7, you just play rook E8. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And does that happen here? Yeah. Okay.
Well, now you play A7, A6.
This is what happened. He played rook D8. I'm not. Does it matter? I'm not. Well, it does matter because.
Oh, wait, he just takes the pawn. What am I talking about?
Yeah, he takes E7. So you got to do something about this.
Yeah. And now you go bishop D6 at some point here.
Well, bishop D6 or even exchange rooks and then play. Oh, maybe not bishop because bishop.
We have the benefit of seeing that this game's already a draw by.
Yeah. But I'm also assuming white's winning here still, probably. Yes.
Oh, really?
So he just takes, which feels wrong, simply because like I think you can do that whenever, but I guess, yeah, I don't know. It feels like you could just play bishop D6 first. Okay, but again, I'm not sure why this is not winning for white. Oh, that's such a nice idea here. Oh, that is really nice, actually. The whole point here, I think, is that black's going to try to give up both pawns here for this pawn. Or I guess he doesn't need to give up this pawn. He's just pressuring. He's just going to play it to E2, and then it's enough. And the counterplay might just be enough to draw this. Basically, what the C pawn is always going to be a desperado. It's just going to give itself up for this. And the moment that happens, things get tricky. It's still not clear that it's a draw, but like it's closer. And one of the things that you always want to look at in these positions is this is a dark squared bishop. This is a dark or a light squared corner. If black can just give up everything and end up even with two pawns in the light squared bishop against the king, it's a draw. So we'll see if that happens. But all right, so E3. This is a nice idea. So now he just takes it. He was going to have to take it eventually because you can't say you play king c2, then e2 comes, and you still got to take it now to stop that from, and then he's going to take here. So, so anyway, so he takes. Now king c2. That feels like it does that.
Oh, I don't understand. I don't understand that.
Yeah, so I guess the point is if you take here, then then white can do this and win this pawn.
True. Okay. Yeah. True.
Yeah. And in opposite colored bishop endgames with pawns, you want your pawns to be as far apart as possible in general. When you have two extra pawns, it's easier to convert in general. The exception to this might be a situation where you have a pawn in the light squared corner because it's not enough to win the bishop in that case. So we'll see. Again, that might happen here. So h5 is also a really nice move. Just fix it. Just fix the pawns on the same color as their bishop. So I like that. Oh, and now he's given up the pawn, but it's the same idea. If he plays bishop takes, he's going to play king d3. So now he plays e2. Okay. Ooh. Okay, so he's allowing that pawn to advance. Interesting. It feels like I would just put my bishop back here, but maybe I'm not sure. Because the idea is it's not like white can get up here fast enough. You can kind of cut off this critical c5 square either way.
Yeah, I feel like the king side is really what's important right now because white has the dark squared bishop, which is the h8 pawn. So if he can ever win h5, then he has some serious winning chances.
Yeah, the only way to ever win h5 though is, I don't know how you ever win this because I think black can basically just put the king over here on the a file, use the king to blockade these a pawns in the meantime, and then just put the bishop here defending h5. Obviously, maybe g4 would be perfect, and you can never do anything.
True, yeah, and then
but
g4
even if you
take, and then you just sack the bishop, yeah.
Yeah, even if you manage to trade off this or something, then yeah, you sack the bishop for this pawn, and it's just a draw.
So that's a good point. Maybe bishop f7 is more computer accurate, or just some bishop move, so you can just leave the bishop protecting h5 and then move the king to the queen side.
Yeah, my only thing here is I'm wanting to push this as white because I want the bishop to be tied down to this defense.
Yeah.
If the bishop gets tied down, then I feel like, okay, now I've got some winning chances. Not maybe many winning chances, but some winning chances. So I think that this actually could be a mistake. It might still be a draw. It's probably still a draw, but I would put my bishop here and get my king over as fast as possible. And I think it's potentially a missed opportunity to not play this immediately. Just start pushing because I want that bishop to have to get back to defend.
Yeah, I just checked the eval bar. It went from a draw to completely winning for white after bishop e6.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, that's rough. But I think that's got to be the reason, right? Is bishop e6, a6 is the move?
Let me check real quick. Bishop b, yeah, a6, only winning move, but it makes sense. He would have found.
Yeah. I think the principle is simply that you want that if you can make this bishop have to defend this square, you have good winning chances. And it sounds like it's actually winning, which is a slight surprise to me, but it's not that much of a surprise because just so you go here. If he goes bishop here right away, it doesn't really matter. You could play king here first, play here. I'm just going to move king here, and I'm going to go after this pawn. And once I win that pawn, then I'm going to come up here and trade off this. And it's not going to be easy for you to do anything about that. And actually, maybe I don't even need to win this pawn. Maybe I can just go up here.
I was thinking, just go right away,
Yeah, you could end up in a position okay, so because he's got to do something about it. It's not like he can, this is almost black can't improve his position in this position. He has to do something. So you go here, you go here, the king goes over after this pawn or whatever, and you just go here and start pushing.
Yeah.
Something like this might, and this actually, you can see how this could be winning because it's not enough to go win this pawn because in the meantime, I'm not even bothering to take pawns. I'm just going to say, I'm going to throw this pawn down the board. I maybe am misplaying this somehow, but like if this feels like the kind of way that you can win.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so anyway, so bishop e6, the mistake, and then the mistake back is king d4. But yeah, and so now the king is back essentially within the square of the pawn. So the moment you play here, you can just move the king over and get the king in front of it. Yeah, yeah. Now black has found the right approach. Just get the king over there, and really nothing else matters. Yeah, king bishop g5, and now this is just a fortress. There's absolutely nothing white can do. The king's just going to go to the corner, and it's a draw. So that might happen here. I'm just going to fast forward through this, but I don't think there's anything interesting. Yeah, it's just a draw here. So, yeah.
Very instructive endgame, though. Very instructive. That whole bishop e6. I mean,
yeah.
Make or break a game. Either a draw or win. White could have won that.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting moments, but that is really the most interesting one here towards the end. Is just understanding the difference here and understanding what you're trying to do, which is the hard part. But they had a lot of time on the clock here. I mean, a lot of time for an end game in a 90-minute game, to really think through what am I trying to do, and then also understanding that like how you're going to do that, because I guess you could say, oh, I'm trying to blockade with my king. I want my bishop to be on g4, but the reality is you need to get your king within the square of this pawn first before you can do that. Yeah, here you actually would throw it away. So, all right, very interesting. Let's hop down to the next one. So this was Thomas Babcock versus Robert Donahue, and this was a quicker game, I believe. So let's check this out. E4 from Thomas. Robert plays knight c6. Already have no idea what's going on. Knight c3, knight d4. Yeah, of course. All right. So this is something weird. d5. Sorry, that quick. Okay, I have no idea what this is.
Wait. Why can't you just take the knight?
I
was thinking d5, bishop b4, bishop b5, but the knight protects.
No, I think you can just take this though, because after this, you just take here, and I think you just win a piece.
True. Yeah. True.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on here. It just seems like both missed that, which is weird. But I mean, this is okay. So I have no idea what's going on here. Is he taking on f7 or something? Queen h5? I don't even know. Does queen h5 win too? It might. No, I guess he
queen h5 is like getting too fancy. It just goes
yeah. So I think you could have just taken the piece there. So queen f3. Oh geez. Okay. All right. So e6 is the move, the normal move here. Queen b6, just missing that, I guess, or something. Yeah. I don't know. There's probably not much to already. White's probably just winning here, because even though it's not material is equal, it's just the king in the center and everything. And White's going to be very quickly developed. So I'm going to zoom through this a little bit. Okay. Yeah, White's just going to put pieces on active squares, and Black will keep taking pawns, but it's going to be hard to survive.
Yeah, like G.
Yeah, this is a good somebody who's just learned how to play chess and learn material is important. The next lesson is, yes, material is important, but you do also need to develop some pieces, and this is going to be a problem. So yeah, White's just crashing through. And I mean, the critical thing, this kind of thing happens when you haven't developed anything, is that you're going to lose that e7 pawn, and there's nothing you can do about it here. Takes. Now I assume you just put a rook on c1, and Yeah, and then you start finding the tactics. Like I would be playing something like Bishop E6 here, right?
That's what I was
Rook
looking
E6,
at. Yeah.
Rook E6, even better. Yeah, there we go. I mean, basically, you're just saying, I need this square. So, yeah. Oops, sorry, I zoomed ahead somehow, but so Rook E6. Yeah, so yes,
If my game lasted that much longer.
yeah, me too. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm just, of course, you're just looking for mate here. Feels like there should be. But okay, he plays very solid. Just says, I'm not going to worry about mate.
Oh yeah, don't risk any dumb back rank mate.
Yeah. Now he goes there and said, okay, and that is the thing. Okay, all right. Michael Heinisch against Jeremy Keeler. E4, E6, D4, D5. We got a French. We've got the old advanced variation of the French, which I don't know very well. Knight C6, Knight F3, Queen B6, Bishop D3. It feels like everybody plays A3 here. The idea is basically, yeah, the idea is basically you're just trying to take the B4 square, which is critical in a lot of positions, away in all these lines. Plus, you're threatening to play B4 yourself at some point. But okay, Bishop D3 is not by no means bad. So takes. Oh, this is the old what's this, Milner Berry? This is a gambit. Yeah. That's a thing. That's the whole point of playing Bishop D7 is you're taking away the tactic, which is that in this position, if the bishop weren't on D7, if we're back there, then Bishop B5 would just win the queen. But you play Bishop D7, so now you're just up a pawn. However, similar to the last game, but far less dramatically, Black spent a lot of time on this. On the other hand, you've won a center pawn. I mean, which is important, and you have a passed D pawn now. So if you can come out of this opening all right, if you're not going to get blown off the board, then Black's going to be doing really well. So this is like a very known position. Like this is something that, yeah, that I don't think like White does very well in the Milner Berry these days. So I don't think people play into this very often. I think Black is hanging on quite well to that pawn. So.
I actually get this position fairly often since I'm not playing the French as much anymore, but I've gotten a lot of positions like this as Black. So I still see it quite a bit, and yeah, everything you said is 100% true. White has so much counterplay for that one pawn, so it's a playable line for both sides.
Yeah. Okay. So Knight C3, and he takes the second pawn. Yep, that's kind of how this goes. Rook E1.
Yep.
Queen B6. Knight B5. This is still theory. They probably have played this both before, I'm guessing, or at least if not against each other, then against somebody. Okay. Queen B8 here.
I think I've had this exact position, and I think Queen D6 is better. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
I think Queen B8 is played in this position. I'm looking at the database now and sort of semi-cheating, but yeah, Queen B8's played in this position, but Queen D6.
Queen B8 makes more sense because they just want to play Knight B5 anyways.
Yeah.
Don't let them have it with tempo.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, it's super critical that White gets something quick against the center. So, like, you have to play a move like Queen F3 because you need to win a pawn in the center. You can't allow this to persist beyond the opening, or else you're going to lose.
And then when threat Bishop F4 is coming in.
Yep. And Bishop F4 is also a threat. So, interesting. So he allows Bishop. Yeah. Bishop F4.
Come to think of it, I don't know what he could have done to stop it.
Well, I think Bishop D6 is your move here.
True.
Yeah. So then, if Queen takes D5, Bishop takes this, look wild. I don't know. I'm just looking at the database and seeing that this has been played before. So
1972.
Yeah. 1972 is a few years ago. But 2400 in 1972 is like you were top 100 in the world. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on in this position. It's possible that white's just better or something, but like you just need to know what the move is. Yeah, after this, like bishop f4, it definitely seems like white has got everything now. So yes, he plays queen c8. Man, okay.
Now, wow, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even if white were to, I was gonna say, even if you were to play like knight d6 and just take the dark squares, you'd have really good compensation, I think. But
I
you got
definitely don't
more
want to
here.
do that. Yeah, yeah, definitely more.
You want more. You want more. Yep. So he goes bishop d6.
Oh, he does? Oh, bishop. Oh, bishop.
Bishop d6.
Yeah.
Of course, you can also just play knight c7. I mean, there's no reason this isn't bad, I don't think. You could play knight c7 and then I don't know if king f8 or king d8. I'm not probably king f8. And then you could even play rook c1. And this looks like the most straightforward way to play. And if black, I'm assuming black has to give up the exchange. Well, he has to give up the exchange. This is a threat. There's so many threats here.
This is the way to go, like this.
Yeah, so bishop c6 is forced. I guess the only thing from white's perspective is if all you got was this. Now, you don't have to play knight takes rook here. In fact, you probably shouldn't. But if all you get is this, black's got it's a rook for a knight and 2 pawns, so an exchange plus 2 pawns and the center pawns. Now he's not developed yet, he's not finished developing, so that's the huge factor here. But this is not super clear.
Yeah, it's not super clear, surprisingly.
Yeah, so white might have just thought, hey, bishop d6 is super clear. He's got to do something about it. So yeah, let's see. Bishop d6. I like this move too. So he goes bishop a5. Oof. Okay. Feels like a rook should land on c1 now. Or just honestly just retreat this light squared or dark squared bishop somewhere too. Also looks good. No, not there though. No, I want my bishop on this diagonal. Although I get this move. It's I'm sorry, my drawing is awful. I get this move because he's creating the lift for the knight d6 move, and he's also threatening to take there. So okay, I overreacted. Bishop a6 is like the long-term approach. All of these moves look good, to be honest.
I'm just shocked this game ended in a draw.
Right? Yeah.
Like G7, the rook, knight d6, also queen f7 could come in. I mean, everything just looks hanging for black. Right?
Well, the critical thing is what happens after bishop takes knight here, and that's what he plays because you do.
Yeah, that has to be.
Yeah, and king f8 comes. So like this is the critical thing: is does white have a move to take advantage? And if he doesn't, then maybe bishop e5 was a mistake. Because, for example, if you had played bishop a3, then bishop takes knight, bishop takes, and there's no king f8. The king would have to go to d8, and I just have to, well, this loses on the spot. White wins with queen f7. So I think that if bishop takes b5 works against this, then this is a critical error, and white should play bishop a3. And the whole idea is you just never allowing anything there.
Yeah.
So this is critical. And now king f8. Okay. So that's not to say that like white's not better here. White's almost certainly better and probably winning with best play. But now he's got to find it. Oh wait, isn't like queen a3 winning a piece here too? Now that I look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this also just wins a piece.
It's like he missed it though.
Yeah, he just missed it. I mean, you can sort of stumble into it too after bishop d6, but
oh good, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. There were a lot of ways to go here, and this just didn't work. You could even play No, actually, maybe you don't want to play queen a3 now because you could actually potentially take your rook. But yeah, you could still play bishop takes knight and then play queen a3 and win it. All right, and now, oof. Okay. Okay. I still don't understand this, but he says he's getting 2 rooks now for the queen. Okay. Oh man, and then he takes the knight.
Now you have to go queen a3 or you're
Yeah,
worse.
well, yeah, I think you're right. Like you just have to go queen a3. Instead he takes here. And then are we gonna get some weird perpetual or something? Yeah, this
there might
is
be some weird perpetual though, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and if white has, well, I mean, queen a3, it's gone downhill so much because you were just so winning, but
Queen a3 is
still,
interesting, yeah. Might as well try
still
it.
I'd say that white's probably better here, but it is definitely gotten less and less clear, that's for sure. Okay, so instead he takes here, and now we just get this, and it's just perpetual. Oh my goodness, that mate.
Wait a sec. Why? Oh, it's a DGT error? What the
The
heck?
DGT error, yeah. Oh my
He
goodness.
stumbled into mate? Did that really happen?
He just stumbled into mate. Yeah, you just play king f6 and draw. Wow. Okay. Well, if we would have seen that this was 1-0 the whole time, we would have even been more surprised by the way this went down.
I have no idea what to think. That's crazy.
Yeah, this is crazy. This game was wild. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right, let's take a look at this one. We've got to get back to the top here. So Terry Humphreys, Noah Stewart. Excuse me. There we go. All right, so this one, e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop e5, a6. This is an exchange, Roy Lopez. Castles, f6. F6 is that is really the OG original way to play against this. A4, c5, d3. I don't know what a4 is, by the way. I really don't. I mean.
Yeah, I have no idea anything's going on in this opening.
Yeah, this is a position that this is like old Fischer stuff. Fischer played this as white a million times. Everybody played this way as black in the 70s, so this is like old school stuff. But d4 is the only move here that I think people played because it's just you're going to play d4 eventually, so why not play it now and see what happens? So a4. So this is weird because we sort of get into a closed position, and it's almost like white has the whole point of the exchange, Roy, of getting things opening up pretty quickly. I shouldn't say that. The point of the exchange, Roy, is you're structurally you're going to have an advantage here as white, because when this happens, takes here, you have 4 pawns on the king side versus 3 pawns on the king side, and this is very high level 30,000 foot view of the position. You're saying I have more pawns on the king side, and you technically have more pawns on the queen side, but they can't ever be mobile. And in exchange for that, you've given up the bishop. So black does have a bishop pair. So that's the battle you're going to have in this game is the bishop pair, this light weakening of the king side here with the f6 move, and then versus this eventual endgame advantage potentially for white. And there's some good, if you look up some Fischer games in this line, you can find some examples of Fischer just winning endgames where you're my goodness, it's you say Carlsen-esque, but it happened, 40 years before Carlsen, or 30 years before Carlsen. where you're just like,
Yeah.
how is Fischer winning this position? And it's like, oh yeah, he just plays moves and suddenly he's winning. And it's like, oh yeah, okay. Really good chess players just win. And so I think it's telling that somebody like Fischer played this so often. And it's not like he only played the Exchange Roy, but he did play the Exchange Roy a fair amount. And he won a fair amount. So anyway.
World Championship level stuff.
Yeah. But, at the, 16, 17, 1800 level, I mean, you're just playing a game of chess, which is fine too. D3, 7, knight c3, knight c6, knight d5, bishop g4. Okay. This is a position, and he plays bishop h5 here, which is, I mean, totally fine and reasonable, and you're threatening to play knight d5. But this bishop is super valuable for black in this position. Like, you need this bishop to cover all these squares, so you got to be careful. This is not one where you want to trade it off. e7, knight f5, bishop e3. Just gives up a pawn. Huh? Yeah, looks like a pawn. Yeah, not much for that actually. Takes. Black's just.
I kind of like bishop f7 because you want to play g6, but then g6 kind of intunes your light square bishop.
Yeah, this is a good move, and like I said, that bishop is super important. If you ended up doing something like not, this isn't a good move, but like if you were to end up just giving up this bishop for the knight, you can see how a position like this, like even though black is up a pawn, you can see how this might just end up being in a draw in a lot of endgames, because again, these 4 pawns versus 3 are hard to get mobile. So yeah, but as long as you keep the bishop, you're just a pawn and you have a bishop pair. So. All right, I'm zooming through this. Black just looks really, really good at the moment. G3. Yeah, I mean, this is really just very solid from black so far. I would say that you eventually might want that rook on the d file, but for now, it looks fine. And now whites fix their pawns on light squares, which makes your light squared bishop potentially even more valuable to attack them later on.
The slow grind.
Yeah. I mean, this looks okay. Now he trades it off. Yeah, and I think that's perfectly reasonable. Just this should be comfortably winning for black, I would think. Okay, g4.
Unless I'm missing something, how do you ever get out of that pin though on c5 now?
Well, that's a good point. Okay, that was the idea there. So how did this happen? Oh, he played king d6 because he needed to. Okay, so maybe b5 is a mistake.
Yeah, b5, or maybe I especially don't like king b6 because I feel like white is stabilized now.
Well, okay. Let's take a look. We'll see how this goes, because you can get out of that pin potentially with activity of breaking on the king side with f5 maybe. So I like this bishop d6. So he's trying to do this, and then like a move like f5 at some point. Although you're giving up the pawn. Yeah, this isn't here. This is not easy. Okay, so g4 I like. You need to break something open here.
Yeah, I like that.
Now he allows him out of it. Actually, yeah, white probably can't do something like this, because then now you can see how you can break the pin once you do that. So I think you have to play. Sorry. If you take here, then bishop takes, and he's going to come after this pawn this way.
And then you'll forcibly get yourself out of your pin.
You can get out of the pin this way.
Have to defend it.
Yep. I mean, it's still not super clear, but it is, that's way out of it. And if here, I'm not sure, but I think this also works because now you're having to take with something, and you don't want to take with a pawn probably because you're giving them a passed outside pawn here, but outside pass pawn. And you don't want to take with a piece because then also you're getting out of the pin. So,
It's really hard to gauge. Yeah, I would be
Well-
open to potentially taking with the pawn.
What happened? Okay, so the big thing with this pawn that I'm curious about was b4 ever a move here, or
Oh,
maybe
boy, I've
even,
never even looked at that.
or
Yeah,
maybe
why not?
even-
At very least to consider. Yeah, I did look at a5 briefly, but I don't know if trading pawns when you have a pin on a pawn doesn't seem ideal. But this might be interesting.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting. I'm also wondering if you take once on b5 first and then do this, but yeah, actually let's say a takes and then oh no, I don't want to give you that option. So let's say, okay, let's just say
Interesting
b4.
line here. Yeah, so maybe go b4 here. I feel like if they take on if they take on c4, we probably play knight takes, and then
Yeah, and you're just saying, hey, this is a draw. I mean,
yeah, because if you ever take, we're just gonna gobble up all their pawns on the
yeah,
king
actually,
side.
the weird thing is this could be this could be better for white because even though you're down a pawn, like these are all on dark squares.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, that's wild, but
So
yeah. Yeah, as this feels good. Like b4 feels good. I don't know.
so maybe much simpler. Well, no, they can't do that. Yeah, this is b4.
Yeah, and it's not like you're up so much here that you can just start like grabbing things. Like you can't, I don't think you can do any of this stuff. You're just worse. Actually, you're just losing, I think. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think this is a missed opportunity.
So, but that begs the question that now black needs to play a5 to stop that.
Yeah, probably. Although, yeah, it's a hard move to make because you're taking away a spot that you eventually want your king to get up in. But yeah, a5
I think black has to, yeah.
b4, which
Or
before you
b4,
can just
yeah.
take before you can play knight takes. That's
True.
yeah.
B4, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of those positions where if you see it, you have to just play it knowing, okay, my position is not as even when I'm up a pawn, I'm probably not winning. So you probably just have to play a5 because b4 looks so strong unless we miss something.
Yeah, there's so many clever things here actually. Now I'm thinking about it. Yeah. You know, see something completely wild is here, and then b4.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't work because the bishop isn't on d6, so you're not threatening the same things here. You actually made the threat bigger by playing bishop d6. So okay, interesting stuff. So the game ended up going like this, and then he takes and allows that pin breaking move. Again, you could actually still play b4, but if you would have seen this, you would have played it earlier. So
yeah. But
okay. Now king takes. Okay.
oh no, yeah, no, don't take. Why did he take on b5?
Yeah. Now it's
White meaning.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I can sort of see because there is this idea, and then the a pawn is passed, and I think it's sort of just the opportunity has passed, and now black's better again.
Yeah, I mean now you're
Now I wonder, like, I'm not sure. f4. Okay.
Black at least has hope again to win this.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely has hope to win this. c4 makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, why not?
A lot of sense. Oof, and goes for tactical response against it.
How much time did he spend on that move?
He spent 8 minutes. So
8 minutes. Okay.
he did think about
just
it.
out of curiosity, because this is
Yeah,
a game-altering move potentially.
Yeah. There's a lot to think about right here. Lots of candidate moves. Obviously, you can take here, which is straightforward. You can throw in this move and play F takes E5. You can, what was the other? I had another thought here too. Oh, you could play what he played. Those are definitely options. So, so you have 3 moves, at least 3 good candidate moves. You played F5. Okay. And now what? Now are you gonna take it? Doesn't that just lose? Well, okay.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I think that you don't want to if you're gonna play this way, I would have taken here first and gone, well, that doesn't work though. So yeah, you can't really play this way. Yeah, you're just so much slower over here than these pawns. These pawns are gonna be so fast.
Yeah.
You don't want to get in a race here as white.
No.
So he takes, and now I'm assuming just the A pawn goes. Oh, or defend there first even.
Yeah, now this is really troublesome for white.
Yeah, so he's going after this. Okay, so it's gonna come down to a race, and okay.
Ooh, nice move.
Yeah. Although
But he's just gonna come back, so yeah, maybe not.
I don't like it actually because it leaves this undefended. I think you just got to accept that this is a race and expect that you're faster. Like, okay, so if A5, bishop G7, A4, let's say bishop takes, knight takes, this, like, black's just winning here, right? I mean, you're just going to play B2. I mean, you're going to play bishop A2 and you're going to play B1. Like that.
Well, come to think of it,
well,
what if knight d4 at 5 here?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So there is, and if here, then you're going here.
I'm assuming, yeah, or either b2 or king a4 first. Maybe even king a4 before b.
No, I want to go quick here because I want to calculate the straightforward thing first. Let's say, what if I take this?
Okay. Yes.
Or what if I throw in this first?
Oh, and then what they might do, yeah, or maybe even just your e4 move, and then what they might do is instead of promoting on e1, they would play b1 check. So then when they play e1, they get it with check, and maybe they snap
right.
on it. I don't know.
But actually, you're not fast enough. That's just
equal here.
Yeah. That's so I was thinking like, okay, this is a lot to calculate, and you have to be very accurate in this. But I think this should be winning. Well, because now if white has to go, so my point is I want to get in the square of this pawn. So like if he goes here, I'm going here. Yeah. And so then here, and then your idea, and black wins. But you got to be real sure.
Very nice.
You got to be real sure.
Yes, and that's a lot to calculate. But
that is a lot to calculate, and you had to calculate it from this position. So, yeah, that's asking a lot. Even with black only has 2 minutes. Okay, I get it. Okay, so this is what ends up happening. King A4. White's going for counterplay here. Okay. Says, whoa. I don't need. Yeah. Says, I don't need it. I don't know if that's true or not.
I guess not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. Can't you just play bishop C? Yeah. Wait, what? Can you play bishop C1? What the heck?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. Although you may have stumbled into something that's really interesting here because then the A pawn starts rolling and let's see what happens. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, bishop C1. He drops the piece, and now you start rolling. Okay.
Apparently, this game's still live, so we might catch up.
Yeah. What happens if bishop? I want to play bishop f7 now. Is that what was? No, he plays a4 and allows the knight into. Yeah, this is wild. I don't know. But yeah, I guess you're probably too slow to just try to give up that piece and push the a pawn. So, oh, he then played king there. I thought, okay, for sure you're gonna play knight there, and you just blockade like this.
Right.
I think this is.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's yeah. Good point. That, and then they play bishop f3.
Yeah, and
but
then
then you just go knight e
or king d3.
Yeah, or even knight e4. I think is just completely winning. But that's king e3 is maybe more precise. Yeah, king e3 more.
Just hold the pawn and.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there is still b2, so maybe this isn't. I don't know what's going on. But wow.
I definitely think white. He shouldn't have. He probably missed bishop c1. I don't think he would have purposely sacked that bishop.
Yeah, I think that's very true. Now, okay, so now there. Now king a1's forced. Now he just takes it. Okay, so this is. It's falling apart. Oh, okay, yeah. Now he says, okay, you can have my bishop. You can play bishop takes and pawn push. I'm just going to take it and then push. So.
If I'm black here, I might just run after those pawns and say, if I can somehow win those 3 pawns, I want to see you checkmate me with knight and bishop. I always just want to see some sort of knight and bishop mate. So, I mean,
yeah, that's what he goes for.
I don't know if, I mean, I'm familiar with Noah Stewart. I don't know if he knows how to checkmate knight and bishop, but it's something that's definitely difficult. I'm not.
Yeah,
I practice it a little bit, but it's not trivial.
Yeah, it shouldn't come down to that here. Like you shouldn't have to trade off both those pawns, but we're in this position. It's still possible we could see it, but I think well, okay, so play here.
Yeah.
Threaten to take, play there.
Do it.
Yeah. Okay, we could see it. We could definitely see it. I don't actually. I think from a practical perspective, playing this move here makes a lot of sense. Just go for it, and you might not get another chance to do it. He plays king f3 here, and suddenly, like, okay, now once the king gets back over here, it's not actually that easy to give up your bishop for both the pawns.
Yeah.
So,
that's a good point.
I mean,
I don't like king f3. I think you have to test your opponent because eventually, if you, like you said, king f3, I think they're just gonna be able to swing around. Yeah.
It sort of depends how you view bishop and knight. Yeah, if you view bishop and knight as, oh, that's just an easy win, then you don't go into that. But if you view bishop and knight as like, oh, there's a good chance my opponent won't know how to do that in 50 moves, then yeah, go for that. So,
it really depends on the opponent's strength. Like I know Noah, he stays in like the 15 to 1600 range. So I'm guessing someone in that rating range, that's up in the air. In my opinion.
It's very much up in the
air. Bishop. Knight and bishop is something where if you're like 1800 plus, you probably have it down. But if you're 15, 1600, you might not. So it's definitely a decent try to go for it.
Yeah. I think there's plenty of expert level players who don't know how to do bishop and knight, but could figure it out over the board as long as they have a few minutes. But like you say, like 1500, they almost certainly don't have the idea down. Unless it's something they've randomly studied a bit, and figuring it out over the board is tricky, especially when you have a minute. So, all right, I'm gonna click back to we'll check on this in a little bit, and we've got gonna head back up to the top here to Eddie and Nathan. This was one that we left a long time ago. And we weren't sure if there was some kind of transmission error. But no, it looks like it was legit. Eddie had spent a ton of time. That's why we were kind of confused. This game, both of them spent a ton of time in the first few moves, and it's basically been a rapid game since then. Not going to pretend to know exactly what's been going on here, why b5 was played, but made for an interesting game. This was a game again where black just had the 2 bishops and it seemed like it was a pretty solid position. But now it's getting to be more tactical and anything can happen.
Yeah, this time situation still completely bamboozles me. How Eddie has under a minute and they're on like move 20.
They're on move 20. And it's not like it's been a complicated tactical battle. It's just been more strategic than anything. So that can happen sometimes. I don't know if Eddie has this does this. I've definitely done this on occasion where you get into a position that's not tactical and you try to calculate everything, and even when it's not a very tactical position, and you just spend time upon time trying to figure things out, and it's just not possible to figure it out.
Yeah.
So it's possible something like that happened, and then you end up in a blitz game. So that said, I feel like Eddie's done a pretty good job to get to this position. Now, I mean, White's bishop is exactly how you want it. You got all your pawns on light squares. You got a knight on a good square. I think things have turned okay.
Yeah.
And now we're going to get this like maneuvering position where they're both going to get knights into these holes in their opponent's position, and then we're going to find out what happens. Yeah, I would just like take that knight off the board right away. Yeah.
Yeah, same. I just take it with the knight and play.
Especially when you're low on time, don't even give them a chance to find anything tactical with that knight. So
man,
this is definitely one of those positions where it's just whoever, if it's easier to play it. So like, I mean, I think White has a very straightforward way to go ahead here. You can just play King G2. You can play for F4. You can play G3, F4 if you want to. That's your break if you want it. Or you can just never break and play like Knight B2 and just kind of hang out and say, okay, how do you ever claim an advantage? It's probably just equal. Of course, if you want to win this, it does get a little trickier. Okay, that's a nice little move to ask a few questions at least. Because now there is a threat of knight c6. So, okay, so he's just going to trade off all the rooks, which I think as White, you got to feel pretty good about. Yeah. Now you can actually target that b4 pawn. And I don't know if you can ever really do enough, like bishop d7, I'm assuming now. Yeah, stop the knight from ever getting into c6. This knight right there. Yeah. So we're just going to get a lot of maneuvering now, I'd imagine. Yeah, now we're closing the position off too. So now Black's going to be able to say, I have a lot of extra space. But it's going to be just like it's not going to be a real advantage you can take advantage of, I think, unless White makes a mistake. Okay, we're in this position now. This is a really nice piece. It's putting pressure on e5. It's going to make it hard for White or for Black to ever really do anything over here. The moment he pushes here, you're just trading off one time. You're putting your king back to e2. You say, okay, you can walk your king in, you can walk your bishop in, whatever. You're going to be tied down to this pawn forever. I think it's just equal.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Okay. We can always check on this in a minute. I wanted to see how this game between Connor. Oh no, we saw the end of that one, didn't we? We saw that was just the one.
We saw that was a beautiful game.
Yeah, that was a really nice game. Did we see we saw all the rest of these, didn't we? So we just have these two.
I believe we saw everyone, but yeah, the Noah and Terry and the top board.
Okay. Yeah, so this one is this position pretty equal. This one was the one where we might see bishop and knight. Still a possibility. Just been a couple moves since we left. Now I don't know what how accurate these clocks are on the DGT thing, but it's showing 0. I'm not sure if that. Oh, it does say. It says half. I don't know. That feels weird.
I certainly hope not. I really wanted to see a knight and bishop.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, I guess something happened here. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but very curious what happened. I mean, this is white should be winning here, and I don't think it should be super complicated either. You're going for this, and in the meanwhile, black can do that sacrifice and go into the bishop and knight. But yeah,
It's actually. Wait a sec. Yeah. I feel like this.
So I guess he's saying that he's just going to take here and trade everything off, and it's just a draw. And is that what they agreed to essentially?
That's what I'm starting to wonder. Yeah.
It's very weird if this is. So here he's saying, okay,
Yeah, it seems like grandmaster stuff though, like foreseeing the position's going to be a draw, so they just agree early.
Yeah,
like,
well,
you still have to calculate though.
Also, it's worth noting, although at the 15, 16, 17, 18, even the 2200 level, bishop and knight versus bishop is not an immediate draw, especially when they're opposite colored bishops. But
I would keep playing for sure. But yeah.
I mean, it's you're gonna win it one time out of 100, but you will win it not 0 times. So yeah, okay. So his point is just.
I mean, technically, if we want to be crazy, I mean, black can technically win that. White can be really stupid and lose.
Yeah, that would be well. But the reason I say it is because you can actually you can semi make progress with it, so it's not completely silly to play on. But obviously it's not winning. It's just you can make a little bit of progress. And actually, bishop and knight versus knight in some positions you can win because the knight can end up getting trapped and against the side of the board with the bishop. And but that's either here nor there.
I'm starting to see it a little bit more though. Yeah, bishop c6, and it's hard to hold on to both those pawns.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just. So if you play bishop c6, okay, maybe somehow this is actually a draw. That feels very weird.
Wait a sec. Can we play bishop g5?
Yeah, I was looking at that too. I don't think you can.
Yeah, he brings the bishop back. Yeah, then we're just losing. We're trying too hard to win. If he takes on, yeah.
Yeah, and you can't. I mean, you're still a tempo short because you just need your king to be defending that d4 pawn pretty much in every position, or that e4 pawn. Excuse me. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to take a look with our friendly eval bar here.
Is it just a draw? Let's see. Oh, that is something. Okay, so it was a win up until when he took the pawn on b3, which makes sense. Like there's no hurry to take that pawn. So yeah, move 59. You just play king d5 and. Wow. That is something.
It definitely makes sense though. I mean, the king activity is more important than winning that pawn. Like, you don't mind having to. I mean, your dark square bishop's not doing anything to like
hold your pawns anyway. So like it's fine. Like it's not like B2 as a desperado is a worry. So yeah, you can just come in and go after the
And they're
pawns
gonna
now.
have to pretty much black's gonna have to sack that pawn anyways, because black's king is so neatly cut off.
Yeah.
So if you just play king d5, king e6, it's just over.
Yeah. That's unfortunate. And that's a good find though, that for black, that like, man, this is actually just a draw. And here I was suggesting, hey, just give up your bishop for the 2 pawns. Well, you didn't have to do it at all. You can just play this, and it's just oddly crazy, just a draw.
Wow.
That is surprising. Opposite colored bishops, even still, like it's even in this position. And if ironically, if white's pawns were on dark squares, so his own bishop could kind of defend them, it would probably just be an easy win. But wow. Okay. Interesting. And this game is maybe over, maybe still going, but it might just be a draw too. I'm guessing that because no moves have been made in a while and they had no time, that this might just be a draw.
Yeah.
I mean, if so, it's a completely fair result. Like there's
I would think. I feel like this sometimes happens. Yeah, where both players, it shows that they flagged, but it's really just the DGT board, the internet, waiting to catch up just to show the result. I'm sure this has been a draw already.
Yeah, I would expect so. So yeah, solid game where Nathan was doing well in the opening, but then Eddie did pretty well to put his pieces on good squares and equalize, and here we are. So yeah, good games. Yeah, that game, Connor versus Andres, was definitely the highlight of the day. This was quite
we had a lot of interesting games, but as far as just a pure win goes, that was definitely the purest.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it now with Engine, and it's shocking to me a bit here that the move that actually made this go from equal to advantage black was 21 queen f4, which is, I mean, queen e2 is hard to believe that's you're giving up this pawn for seemingly nothing, but the counterplay somehow works. It's not intuitive at all. Plus e4.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy stuff.
Yeah, g4 takes. That takes everything he played here is just all the computer moves. Just the whole thing, the whole way through. Ironically, rook f3 is not the computer move, but like it's also still quite good. Okay, so g takes. Yeah, so he did lose it here for a second. So rook takes f3 is the move. That's what I was looking at. We looked at that, didn't we? Or did we?
I'm stupid. I was going to mention during the broadcast, but I decided not to interrupt. But I was thinking, rook takes f3. Obviously, you just play bishop d2 and you win the queen. But then there's rook g3.
No, there's rook c3. But I said I looked at this too, and I just assumed he could take it. But I guess there's actually nothing here. That's bonkers.
Wow. Yeah, what's bonkers is why can't you? I mean, if bishop h4, you must have to play king h1, because if you play king f1, there's rook f8.
Rook f8, right? Yeah. This is, I would bet the house that this is winning for black. This is crazy. Because you're down a pawn, and you can get that pawn back even by playing like bishop e3, bishop takes pawns. Like this is not. I mean, wow. Yeah, so bishop h4, you have to play king. Well, so all the counterplay is with king h1 and rook g1.
True, yeah.
That is very surprising.
And I mean, let's not forget, black did have to shove all of his kingside pawns forward for that attack, so it's not like his king didn't get weak.
Yeah, and because of the rook g1 threat, white's actually better here after this move. That's crazy. And if you play rook G, I'm assuming rook f8, you just play queen g2 or queen g3. Yeah, queen g2. And better again. Wow. Wow. Yeah, we both saw this move, and we both, and yeah, I saw the rook takes, bishop d2, rook g3 stuff, and said, okay, yeah, that's good. But I just assumed that it just didn't make any sense to me that opening up the e file was going to help you here, and also like I just did not even consider just taking back with the queen that this would be okay for white. Wow. But the computer does not lie.
Yeah, I mean, crazy stuff.
Yeah, crazy. It's not an obvious miss at all. Like, and I mean, king f1. If you, I'm assuming king h2 is queen h2 the only move here that wins. Can I see some? I don't know how to do
you
this.
Can put on multiple lines. There's a setting.
Yeah. Okay. Search.
Yeah.
Just put on 3. Okay. So other moves are also better for black, but nothing else is clearly winning. Like, so king f7, king d2, and then queen h2, rook e1. Yeah, this is a lot less clear. I mean, this is I think I actually I looked at this. We looked at this exact position almost with this idea of like queen takes a2 and f2 coming in. This is good for black, but like it wasn't immediately over. But queen h2 here is just so good. Like this is such a nice move. Just a nice little quiet, like, yeah.
And that might be why Connor went for this. He must have not seen. I don't want to assume, but maybe he didn't see queen h2 because he saw rook takes f3. If he looked at rook takes f3, maybe he didn't know it was equal. He just thought, okay, this is slightly worse. I don't want to risk it. It looks really scary. And he thought, oh, I can play king e1 and queen h1 doesn't immediately lose. He must maybe that was his thought process.
Yeah. I mean, it's he played king f1 here very quickly, but it's also really understandable because like you almost just reject rook takes f3 out of hand because for one thing you're giving back all the material, and it's not even clear that you've solved any problems because you've just opened up the e file for his rook, and a lot of the same threats are still there, and you're giving up a discovered check. And how can that be good? But just happens to be all right. So yeah, it's understandable. And then I mean, there's nothing to be done here once there's queen h2, and yeah, something else. But it's also really counterintuitive. The bishop g5 wouldn't be a good move here. Like it's just it just so happens that the tactics are bizarre. And bishop h4 apparently is the right move, which also makes sense. But all right, I mean, good games, interesting games.
Yeah, interesting games for sure. I mean, look, we had a lot of. This still might be the game of the day, but we had a lot of interesting endgame positions. I feel like we learned a lot as far as our endgame technique goes today. Yeah,
there were some real good ones, some real both really interesting calculation exercises. And was it the Heinisch Keeler game? Was that the one that ended up in? Oh no, this is the one he ended up in checkmate. One of them ended up with that opposite color. Was that?
I think that was Jacob. No, was that?
Oh no, which one was that? It was the Jason and Torfy game. Is that what it was? Yes, this one where where we had this opposite color bishop nonsense, and the bishop e6 versus bishop a6. So yeah, I mean it's really interesting stuff.
Very instructive.
Yeah. So good stuff.
I believe we for the stats. I mean the standings at least. I forget where exactly to go for that, but I believe Nathan wins this edition of the July Thursday Nighter. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but my congratulations to him. I mean, I know this Lee Chess whole standings thing is completely messed up, but I still think that Nathan did win the July Thursday Nighter. Could be wrong about that, but
yeah. Next time I'm
Yeah.
on, we just need to ahead of time have the standings up in the background somewhere. Whether it's I don't know if they have them up on the chess or whatever, but
yeah, maybe
somewhere.
they have them up there. I went earlier, but well, congrats to Nathan, who I assumed won, and all of the great games tonight. It's definitely a lot of fun. One last announcement: we once again just the stream sponsored by Chess Goals. They're just simple chess courses. That's headed up by opening courses. That's headed up by National Master Matt Jensen from the Rochester area, and you can use the coupon code CASTLE to save 10% on some of his courses. So make sure to check that out. And we thank him for sponsoring these streams. Well, there are a lot of fun games tonight, and thanks for joining me, Frank.
Yep, thank you.